Greetings, I am No Talent Red Mage, and I am playing Gekido Advance, Kintaro's Revenge, I have no idea how to say that, for the Game Boy Advance. It's a 2D brawler that's, well, interesting, but not technically what I would call good. Not that there's nothing to like about the game. It has these little neat cutscenes that tell a story that's, well, kinda short and not all that endearing. Also, all of it is unskippable, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, especially for people like me since I have to cut it out so I can get to the meat and potatoes of the game. The story is the dead is rising and some kind of ancient evil is coming. So it's basically Ghostbusters. Someone in the past game died and the sensei is too much of a lazy bastard to get up and do anything himself. Instead sending Tetsuo, his disciple, who feels like he was ripped right out of a King of the Fighters series game, to do all the dirty work. The story is mostly forgettable and doesn't really go out of its way to make you care about it in any significant manner. The game instead tries to mix fighting, adventure, and platforming together with less than fabulous results. Firstly, the game looks really nice. The sprites are well animated, the movements are fluid, and you can expect a handful of the enemies to be really, really detailed and actually kind of on the smart side, although you do get a lot of enemies that are a little bit blandish and not as well animated. I'm guessing to cut down on the data storage for the cartridge. However, the backgrounds reek of budget game. Most of the stages have reused background panels every screen or so, and mixed with the adventure part of the game can get you lost when trying to backtrack with a key to find a door or something like that. The sound design is anything but acceptable. The same 3 or 4 tracks rotate in and out randomly for the entire game, going from exploration music to I found something music to enemies inbound, and then eventually to boss music, and that's about it. Almost as if the composer walked out on the job about a third of the way through development. The sound effects are not all that good either, with only a few enemy dying sounds shared among all of them, even in situations where it isn't warranted, like killing a creature with no mouth or vocal cords to speak of, and them yelling as they die. Same can be said for the hit sounds when you punch or kick them, ranging from tapping a desk to punching a pillow. Yeah, it's not exactly good sounds. That said, the fighting is solid enough, even if the enemy variety isn't all that up to par. Tetsuo has an emergency special that knocks enemies away from him, fire uppercuts and spin kicks and special moves of all kinds and throws to keep them off of you. However, he seems to also fall down from a single hit, sometimes ending with double damage because you fell into a pit. Which brings me to the platforming. Of all the unholy things to include in a side-scrolling brawler game, they include platforming. I mean, yeah, Golden Axe did it, but it had the good sense not to include it very often. Gekido Advance includes it on every freaking stage, and it's about as stiff and unresponsive as you would expect it to be. It's also a relatively short game that follows the logic that, difficulty equals length. It's about as difficult as dinosaur shit rolled in concrete, especially the bosses. But it's only, 5 stages long, it's fine. It's okay for a handheld. In conclusion, it feels like a fan-made game, beat-em-up game, that tried to change up the formula by adding adventure and platforming, but ultimately falls short on every front, but the brawling. If the game had just been a left or right brawler, it would have been fine. A little bit on the average side, but fine. As it stands, the exploration and platforming detract heavily from the overall experience rather than add to it. I've been No Talent Red Mage, and this has been Gekido whatever Advance. Kintaro's Revenge for Game Boy Advance. It's very, very average-ish. I'll see you next time.